Cool. So guys, welcome back to the vlog. I've been very fortunate enough to have Darren here, who not only resides now in Australia, but you're in real estate and you've got a, I guess, Asia Pacific lens on what's happening in commercial real estate.
Yeah, that's right, Toby. So I spent 11 years in Korea.
Wow.
With JLL and CBRE, and I came back to Melbourne last year.
Yeah.
And now, I guess, looking at trends across Asia and across Australia and comparing what's going on in flexible space. And I think that you guys at Creative Cubes are doing some things which really reflect what our clients are looking for.
Yeah, so with your property lens, what are you seeing out there? What's starting to trend, both in obviously with the flex space, but the greater space? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so I think that companies are looking at how to become more attractive to employees through their real estate. So it's really about that human connection.
Yeah.
How can real estate drive a human connection? How can it create more continuous innovation and facilitate employees becoming more sticky to the organization? I think also companies are looking for technological enablement. So is the technology within the workplace allowing people to do their jobs to the best of their ability? Does it actually embrace technology and allow those companies to provide then technological solutions, not only to their employees to do their jobs, but also to their clients and their customers? So, I think if we look at companies like JLL say we're not a real estate company, we're a technology company.
Okay.
So many companies, I think, are seeing the drive of technological change and they're looking for their real estate as a way to embrace that change.
So can you give me or the viewers a practical example of that? Are we saying that tech is now in the cloud, so therefore we can shrink real estate or we can have more agile in our real estate because our teams can be dispersed? Or are we seeing other things happening in the sector?
I think it's about giving people more choices. And, so we've talked about work-life balance as a concept for many, many years, but how does technology help companies implement that? So providing people with choices about where they work, providing people with more technological skills so then that they can go out and talk to clients about those technology solutions as well. So if people feel more comfortable with technology, they're then got to feel more comfortable about going and talking to clients about the technological solutions that big companies can provide to our clients, which then enables them to provide that flexibility for their employees as well.
So super valuable. On one of my vlogs earlier, either this month or as much as late last month, I talked about Cubes understanding intimately what the needs are of the consumer. Historically, when I've gone to speak to landlords, they don't understand how to do the micro transaction. They don't know how to, if they're a landlord of a cafe space, they don't know how to charge for the $3 coffee or $4 coffee. Yet they understand how to charge for square meterage and do a large transaction. Are you saying that what you're seeing with the enablement of technology, that landlords are embracing that to then be able to understand more intimately what the needs are of their users to then build and create spaces? Or are you seeing that from the user then creating off the back of a property that they've either rented or bought or inherited?
Yeah, look, I think it's been more driven by occupiers than it has been by landlords. Right. But I think now we're seeing landlords become more aware of the requirement to provide the occupiers with that technological enablement. So there's something new which is called wired score. So similar to the way that you grade a building based on its energy consumption, there's now a way to grade buildings based on its technological enablement readiness. So wired score is a rating system which just looks at how future-proofed is a building. So I think landlords now are looking at that as a differentiator. I think when you look at space as a service in terms of what Creative Cubes does, I think also buildings are looking at the way that they provide space to their tenants as more of a, I guess, an overall solution and more customer-centric than just sort of like a landlord-tenant master-slave type relationship.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's what I was trying to articulate earlier, which is landlord is sort of historically been, this is my space. If you want it, this is what it costs. Right. Now I feel like landlords, at least the conversations we're having, the landlords are coming to sort people out like us, and I'm sure they're sorting out other, like reaching out to other operators to say, I need you guys in my building in order for me to activate the rest of the building.
Right. And this, I think, is kind of like a chicken and egg question. Like, what comes first? Is it the collaboration or is it the cohabitation?
Yeah.
So collaboration and cohabitation between startups and entrepreneurs versus enterprise and large companies.
Yeah.
And large companies really want to tap into the entrepreneurial spirit of the startup scene, which is really big here in Melbourne.
Totally.
And I think big companies want to be able to co-locate with those startup companies, and whether it's through Creative Cubes or other co-working providers, or whether it's through some cohabitation space that's provided within a building. We're seeing more buildings now having in their lobbies, for example, free co-working space, if you like. Yeah, I think landlords are looking for ways to differentiate between their competitors and how they can provide some of that cohabitation which big companies are looking for. And at the same time, startups and entrepreneurs, they really benefit from some of the, for example, capital that big companies can provide, and some of that operational nous that perhaps smaller companies don't necessarily have.
It's interesting, in our Richmond location and also in Hawthorn, and no doubt soon here, we see the larger companies want to operate and be like the smaller companies.
Right.
And you see the startups coming and going, we're going to be the biggest in and the best in what we do. So it's kind of like the big guys want to be like the little guys, and the little guys want to be like the big guys. And so everyone's trying to be the complete opposite to who they are, at least inside the ecosystem.
Right.
But I think it's great that larger companies are embracing some of the startups, the startup energy, the startup scene, that flexibility with their teams. It's really tough.